Well, well, well. You'd never guess who we've got swinging by the podcast today. Some of y'all know him as the hot wing expert. Others know him as one of the fiercest interviewers in the game. And me, I might know him as a potential future suitor. Yes, my boo, Sean Evans, is in the building. Sean is the Chief Creative Officer of First We Feast and the host of Hot Ones. And with over 4 billion views, an Emmy nomination, and being named one of Time 100's most influential creators, safe to say he clearly knows how to connect. So today, we're getting into the art of interviewing, how you ask the right questions, build real connections, and create moments people actually feel. And also how you navigate public perception, especially when you're trying to protect yourself and your craft. So let's bring the heat, because baby, this is Keke Palmer, and baby, this is Sean Evans. Today's episode is brought to you by the new drinks at McDonald's. 6 new drinks, crafted sodas with cold foam, refreshers with popping boba and freeze-dried fruit, and trust, they are giving everything. Now, let's get into today's show. Sean!
Hey there. Good to see you.
I'm on your side of the world.
I know.
Come on, have you been feeling in New York? The weather's been nice.
It is. Spring's starting. I feel good. It's good to be here. Good to see you on a Friday afternoon.
I know. I was so excited, and I'm so thrilled for our game. He has no idea what it's going to be. But you did do these pre-show pull-up questions, so I'm going to get into this. Wait a minute. Your zodiac sign, you're a Taurus.
Yes.
Your moon is Scorpio. I felt that.
You knew that.
I could feel that.
You know who helped me figure? SZA actually figured this stuff out for me.
You told her your time and
my
everything.
time, the date, the location, all of the things.
You have a lot of good stuff going on. You have a rising in Libra. I do feel that I see you always having a nice look on. Your aesthetic is always good. That's what we know about Libras.
Okay, yeah. I was hoping you'd
Moon
teach
is
me about
Scorpio,
this.
a little mystery.
Ooh.
You know, very always can get what they need to get done. You know, like this is the goal.
Tracks.
Boom. And then Taurus, do you feel stubborn at times?
In certain things. That's what I always feel like filling out these sorts of things. Well, I'll be like, I don't know. I guess sometimes that makes sense to me. But yeah,
I mean, that's how astrology can be. Like, sometimes it's like on the nose, and other times like this could be anybody on any given day.
Do you know what I think I do? I think I have like a strong gut on something, and then if something doesn't feel right, like my body physically like won't let me do it. You know, I do think that there is like a real like wall. Like I think that there is a certain Taurus stubbornnness, I guess, if I was to diagnose it.
Also, that sounds like discernment, too. Sounds like you have a really good intuition with yourself, and you're like, oh, no, I ain't going there. That's good. Your love language, quality time, and words of affirmation. Now, is this what you want to hear, or this is how you give it out?
I think it's I think it's reciprocal. Like, I think it's both ways. I think that's what works for me, and then I think that that's also how I express it.
I also do want words. You know, I feel like I show it with physical touch and quality time. I feel like that's and acts of service. I feel like that's probably how I'm giving it out. But how I want to receive it is tell me that I'm great.
I'm checking some boxes then.
You must tell me. What's a question you wished you were asked more in interviews? I mean, you're always interviewing. So.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because no one really talks to me about doing actual interviews. You know, when I sit down and do interviews, people are always like, oh, like, what's the craziest thing that happened on Hot Ones? Like, how's your stomach doing? Like, those sorts of questions. But I never really get, like, questions about doing interviews, which I find interesting.
I'm very excited because that's actually all my questions. Who is someone that you met that made you feel starstruck? This was really cool to me. Gordon Ramsay. Never knew you liked chefs like that.
Well, I think it was because when we shot with him, there was such internet peer pressure to push us into a room together. Like, I felt bad doing Hot Ones because every time we'd be like, this week on Hot Ones, all of our comments would be like, when are you having Gordon Ramsay on the show? And then same with him. Like, his Instagram was just full of like, when are you doing Hot Ones? So I felt like the internet kind of peer pressured us into a room together. So it had this elevated importance to it, like a real kind of playoff game, like a YouTube Super Bowl kind of feeling to it. So then when he walked into the room, plus you have those expectations that he's going to tear our wings apart, you know, like you have that whole, that he's going to like be a force
How was
in the
it
room.
though, actually? Because I feel like I didn't see this ep.
He, to me, is a teddy bear. Like, I love him so much. I feel like he's like a showbiz uncle to me at this point.
Oh my
so it was like
gosh.
breaking all that down. But like seeing him in the room, I was like, oh my gosh, it's happening.
That's crazy. And then you also said Conan O'Brien, David Letterman, Viola Davis, and Kate Blanchett. Great taste.
Thank you.
All these
Thank you.
people are like exceptional in their lane.
Well, I think that's why. Like if like Kate Blanchett or like Viola Davis is gonna come in and do Hot Ones, I'm always like, how do we book? How did this happen? Do they know what they're getting themselves into? So that I think adds to it. Conan, I was such a fan of growing up. So then when it comes full circle, like this person who I grew up watching their show and now they're on mine, there's something about that that's crazy. And then David Letterman is
crazy.
To me, like the earliest core memories I have in my life was watching Letterman with my dad. That was like the fun thing that we do when my mom was out of town, like the fun, like naughty, like the boys being boys kind of thing. And then I met him last year. I did Conan O'Brien's Kennedy Center honors for the Mark Twain Prize for American Comedy. There's like a dinner beforehand, and I'm looking at the name tags around the plates.
Like who's sitting here?
And I'm like, damn, I'm at a good table. Like that's John Mulaney and Adam Sandler. And then like across the way was David Letterman. And then when he walked in, because he's like later than everybody, like sits down. I remember he grabs a dinner roll out of the middle of the table, throws it at Conan across the restaurant. And I was like, whoa, like that's him.
And that's you up in at that table with them. I mean, you are,
Somehow.
but it makes sense because of what you've been able to do within our generation and in this space. I mean, that's what we'll be looking at 20 years. I'm sitting up there with Sean Evans. You know what I mean? Well, let's go back to the beginning because you were also a Midwesterner like myself. You're from Crystal Lake, Illinois.
That's right.
And I'm from Robbins, Illinois. I don't know what's Crystal Lake's vibe. Is it very cornfields?
It's like the last suburb, I feel like. I think like beyond that, it's all cornfields, but it's pretty far out. It's like an hour, 20-minute drive
Is
to
this
Chicago.
north? Is this?
Northwest.
Northwest. Okay.
Metro Union Pacific Northwest. Take it almost to the end of the line.
So growing up there was like?
It was actually like an awesome child of the 90s experience. Now that I look back on it, it was very much a ride my bike around the neighborhood, Little League kind of experience. And I remember the street that I grew up on, everybody had kids that were all within 3 years of each other. So it was like, oh, they're playing basketball in the driveway over here. They're skateboarding over there. There's a super soaker fight in the backyard over here. There was always like stuff going on. And I do look back and think of it as kind of like the quintessential 90s suburban experience.
I mean, I do think John Hughes got it right.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what
it was
I mean?
right out of that. And like John Hughes also, like from that area too, or is like making movies at least set in that area. So I think that like the John Hughes vibe did kind of track with my experience growing up.
I do feel like growing up in the Midwest is like such a dope like way to grow up. What do you feel like is the most Midwestern thing about you to this day?
I think it's like my mom was the nicest person I've ever known. And I think that kind of rubs off where there's always this kind of make sure I'm not stepping on anyone's toes. Make sure I'm not rocking the boat. Like, is everybody okay? Sort of a thing that I think I still have to this day. And I also think that it gave me the ability to kind of sit at any lunch table. When I was growing up in high school, like I felt like, you'd have friends from this group, like these guys on the football team, like these guys who do plays, like these guys who are musical, like whatever. So I think all of those things kind of informed what I do now, which is always trying to catch a rhythm with other people's personalities and doing mostly celebrity interviews. So you're going to have big personalities.
Yes.
And I think a lot of that was shaping in a way.
I mean, you're very quick on your feet, and you talk about watching like David Letterman or even Howard Stern growing up.
Yeah.
What tactics do you think you were picking up that you use in your style of journalism?
Well, I think there's different things. Like, I don't know. I do think I have like my own style, but I think a thing that I pick up on is Letterman had this kind of irreverence, especially later on in his career, where, he's got this like big, huge show, but I think he'd more or less, this is just my take on it, but he'd more or less like stop the kind of like ratings wars with Leno and just kind of like be himself out there and almost had like an irreverent view of like his own job in a way, which I always liked too, like looking back now is like not taking what I do too seriously. Like ultimately at the end of the day, I'm a chicken wing talk show host, and I should just kind of lean in and embrace that side of it and like not try to make it too big. And I think that's something that stuck with me from Letterman. And then I think in Howard, it was just the kind of way that he'd kind of lull you into a web, that you didn't even know that you're really like leaning into.
You are excellent at that. Because what I love so much watching you, even though I'm in the experience, obviously, of having been interviewed by you several times, is, like you said, you have your own style of that same sentiment where you have an arc that you're building from the beginning with everything that you've pulled that brings around to the conversation you're deciding to have with that artist, with that person about themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, do you decide when you're going to have somebody on that this is what I think about them, this is what I want people to at least learn or know about them, and this is how I'm going to get there? Or
yeah, I mean, it is a funny thing that you're filling out. Like, it's a funny thing to think about, or how you kind of chess match it, or how the Tetris blocks kind of stack on top of each other. Because I guess when I'm looking at it, I'll marinate in somebody's life for a week if I have a week before I sit down with them, walk a mile in their shoes. And then you do a lot of armchair psychology when you're doing that. You're kind of like trying to figure this person out. But then you don't want to overly put them in a box, because all of the things that you're watching from them is like a version of them in a box. You know what I mean? So you want to think about, how do I... what do I find interesting about this person? What am I naturally just intellectually curious about? That should lead. And then how am I going to show a different side that isn't already represented in all these things? And that could be a risk, like sometimes that works out, sometimes that doesn't. But I think it's worth going there, because then you're going to have a different vibe on the other side of it. And then that's why I think, in addition to the wings, it is that interview, trying to meet the guest halfway so that they're always eating the next wing, that I think ultimately gives Hot Ones that kind of, what's it like to have a beer with this person show
exactly.
effect. Yeah.
And getting them out of there, almost like how comedy or horror can act in film and TV, where it gets you off your feet, but not in a negative way. Like, it's always so positive with Hot Ones. But you're still kind of knocking that person off their feet, because with that wing, you can't think too much.
Right, yeah. The PR training goes out the window when you're just trying to survive out there.
Exactly. I mean, when this idea came to you, you're working at Complex. Yep. Like, tell me the story. They come in with this idea. I think it's, Chris Schoenberger. Chris Schoenberger, yeah. So he comes in and says, hey, I want you to eat wings with folks.
So really how it worked out is we were at Complex, and back in 2014, that started this wave where every magazine became a YouTube channel. So in order to keep our jobs, we had to come up with some sort of video product. And then Chris and I were honestly just like water cooler buddies in the office. Like, we would just always be chatting and had a good vibe. And First We Feast at that time was just a written blog. It was winning James Beard Awards and stuff. It was cool. It was like this blog at the intersection of food and pop culture. But
Fabulous.
It was kind of, if you know sort of a thing. So he had to come up with a video product. We were talking about things for a while. We were in the Complex office, so celebrities would be walking the halls all the time. So we were like, maybe a celebrity interview show would be viable just because of our proximity to it. And then, we needed like a food element because it was a food brand. We had this idea that celebrity interview shows are kind of boring. Why are they boring? Everyone's in kind of a PR-driven flight pattern. What could we do to disrupt it? And he was like, well, what if we had them eat scorching hot chicken wings over the course of the interview as a way to break them down? And I was like, you're a genius. And we ordered a pizza and started hammering out what a pilot would look like and working on the pitch, and then shot the pilot with Tony Yeo from G-Unit.
Yeah, come on.
Our first ever guest. And that was like 11 years ago, and we haven't stopped shooting them since.
And I remember, I think I did mine in 2016.
Yeah,
so I was one of the early guests
you were early wave, first
I remember
wave
when they first told me about this show, I'm like, what the hell is this show? You know what I mean? But I was down because it was so cool. And like you said, it was all at this beginning place. And I'm so curious of what you feel and what you think about it, because you are a part of shaping this as well. The conversation around pop culture, media, this meta-narrative thing that's going on that I don't think we have all the answers to, but it's happening because we came up at the height of reality TV and then social media, being 90s babies. Like, what are your thoughts about that as it pertains to what you're providing into the culture? Like, how do you view it?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm just like a star in the constellation of it all. You know, like now there's so much of it. When we first started, there was only a couple internet celebrity interview shows, maybe like 2 or 3, and now there's like 20 of them, and they're all good. I think a lot of them are really good right now. And then you still have the late night. So I think that what's happening right now is you have, what's going on culturally where it's like everybody's in kind of smaller pockets of like watching and absorbing things tailored specifically to their tastes and interests. Yeah. And I think that that's like the future of it, is just a lot of small studios that are, rather than, like sort of monoculture going out and everybody's seeing them, like I don't know, just like smaller camps, I
Yeah,
guess.
and people getting to choose more. I
Yeah,
think before
right.
we were forced because we just had this way of viewing media that whatever they told us was the best thing, which could be true or it's always subjective. But now you can just go find whatever it is. And I
Yeah.
think there's something that's empowering about that. But then also we run into the thing where it's like, how do I find the thing?
Yeah, and I miss some out of culture kind of thing, where like we could all talk and there's like, like movie references that we all understand or like things going on in shows that everybody can talk about. And that's obviously different now, and I'm not sure it's coming back.
I know it's weird, but I'm excited to see where it goes and how to be a part of it. What's something about you day to day that would surprise people who watch your work all the time?
I don't know if it'd surprise anybody. I'm just like a routine person, like
Really? So
yeah.
waking up in the morning, what you doing?
Gym first.
Come on, Jim.
Gym first thing, yeah. Like, let's say I don't have a shoot that day and I'm not traveling that day or I don't have an event or whatever. Gym in the morning, like an hour lift, 30 cardio, hit the sauna. Then I'm at Whole Foods. I'm getting the hot bar. Like, that's what I'm eating that day. I'm going back to my apartment. I'm working with my editor, Colin, for a couple of hours. Then I'm going to do some research on whoever I'm interviewing that week for a couple more hours. And then I'm going to smoke a joint and watch a college basketball game and go to bed.
This is the I'm a good man schedule. Okay? Everything was doom. But I love what you said about if I don't have anything going on, because those are like the perfect days.
Yeah, right.
Otherwise,
fewer and far between these days.
Man, they really are. Because I feel like First We Feast, I feel like that Hot Ones was first. We're in one place, people come, da-da-da. But I mean, I just did it with you. We was in LA, and we doing it with you going there. Like, when you think about the success of the show, at any point, was it scary? Did it feel like it's falling away from you? How do you maintain what it was in the beginning as it grows so massively? Yeah,
there's a lot to unpack there. There are certain times where I can get nostalgic about the beginning and how it's just me and Chris in a dream and us against the world and always traveling together and then putting everything into these weekly episodes and then seeing the growth and the climb and all of the excitement from that and like catching your first white whale guest and breaking 1 million subscribers and like all of these things that happen. And then I think the deeper and longer you go, these achievements that before would like make your entire week just become mile markers that you're like passing on the highway or something. And I miss that side of it, that sort of the youthful ambition and the delusion and the excitement of all of that. But then also too, like time also gives you a much healthier mindset with the whole thing or experience or stacking it up, where, like you have some years where you crush it and everything's crazy. And then you have a year where things are down and you think it's the end. But then like when you go through it and you have enough, it's just like, oh, well, this is it all ebbs and flows and changes. And it's not like this sort of nonstop trajectory up, like you take 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, like it becomes this kind of dance. And I'm now like, I think that's given me a better, healthier mindset on the whole thing. So now I just really only look at things as the next challenge or the next assignment or the next thing. I really think I've become like a Pac-Man who's always just like eating the next pebble. Yeah. And like that I think has been healthy because I'm just like, you know what, if this interview is good enough, then they'll pay me to do another one. And if that's good enough, then they'll pay me to do another one. And that's kind of how I started. And that still to this day is what fuels me, I guess. Did you ever have an end goal? Did you ever say, well, I would love to be able to be doing, I would love to have my own radio. I would love to have, like, were there any things for you that were in the beginning and that still stand for where you want to go? I think I've done so many laps around any expectation that I ever had for myself that it's all house money at this point. Like I never dreamed as big as I live, Oh my gosh, that is so cool. I don't aspire for anything bigger, to be honest with you. I think I've gotten more out of it than I ever deserve. So like from this point forward, I think there's a responsibility to the audience who's been so loyal to us for so long, and that keeps me motivated. There's a responsibility to my guests, these people who've achieved amazing things and have stories to tell, and I owe it to them to make sure that I have what's hopefully a thoughtful, career-spanning interview when I sit down with them and I'm prepared for it. But other than that, like, I don't look at anybody in Hollywood, anybody
Yeah.
in the entire landscape, and say like, oh, I'd rather have that, or I want that next, or whatever. Like, I really wouldn't trade places with anybody. I'm very comfortable in the lazy boy that I'm in.
That's that Midwest.
Yeah, that's
That
maybe
is
that-
the
yeah,
Midwest straight
yeah.
up. Now, you were also a copywriter in Chicago. I was like, look, I was doing my research.
Yeah, you
too.
were.
I tried
You
to get
did.
onto
You
my
went deep,
Sean
yeah.
Evans
Yeah.
of it all. What type of stuff would you write about?
So actually, it was like the city's tourism agency was called Choose Chicago. I don't know what it's called now. Maybe it's still called Choose Chicago. But sometimes I'll see the billboards up in New York. But it's like basically working for the city to promote the city of Chicago on a tourism level. So if you ever see like in New York, you go to a bus stop and there's some sort of aerial shot of Lake Michigan and the beach and the weather, and like they're like, visit Chicago, you know? It was doing that sort of stuff.
Wow. So if you were a copywriter today, what would you be writing about?
I don't know. That's the other side of it too, is to be like, I don't even know, like, it's like, oh, if you didn't have this job, what would you be doing? I was not a great copywriter. You know what I mean?
That's
I had to
hilarious.
get out of there. But
You're hilarious.
but I don't know if I'd do anything. I can only eat wings and ask questions, I think. That's it. I'm doing exactly what I'm meant to do.
What is the trick of getting somebody, aside from the wings of it all, to get comfortable and talk the way that they do on Hot Ones?
I think it's a good question. We could probably collab on this answer, you know?
Yes.
Baby, this is Keke Palmer, yeah.
This episode is brought to you by the brand new drinks over at McDonald's. Okay, y'all, these drinks are officially the outside drinks of 2026. I'm talking concert season, game day season, vintage market season, picnic in the park with a cute fit and a lover season. These drinks were built for any occasion worth showing up for, y'all. The Sprite Berry Blast with Sprite Blue Raspberry and cold foam on top. That's your drink before the headliner hits the stage. The Strawberry Watermelon Refresher with freeze-dried strawberries with a little caffeine to keep the energy going is what you and your girlfriends are going to be sipping at the post-brunch afters. 6 new drinks total. Crafted sodas with cold foam and refreshers with popping boba and freeze-dried fruit that go perfectly with even the chilliest of days and the hottest shenanigans. Before you pull up anywhere, I know you're stopping at McDonald's first, because that's just the move now. New drinks now at McDonald's. Baby, we outside.
But I think in a lot of these cases, the interviews that I'm doing are dependent on the generosity of the guest, you know, and the effort of the guest, you know, of meeting me halfway. And I think, you know, if you walk into an interview setting and you can tell that someone has done the research, they care about the things that you've made, or they care about telling your story, then you're going to extend for that person more so than if you felt like it was just a scratch and repeat kind of interview, you know? So I always think that we have a lot of hoops that people are jumping through. Like we're having like, oh, the next wing is homegrown hell. Like if you know, like how am I going to get that person to extend for me? Like how am I going to get that person to have a good attitude and eat the next wing? You know, like how am I going to keep them tethered to the format of the show? And I think it's through that effort on our side on doing the interview where like, hopefully the guest, even if they're not enjoying the wings so much, or they're enjoying the interview more than they do most interviews. So I think that that's always the goal in that, or that's always the way to thread the needle. The other thing that I think about is it's so crazy to do an interview on camera, right? Like everything about it is crazy. I'm meeting somebody usually for the first time. And in that, we have to create this rhythm, this energy, this sense of trust, this chemistry. And then we're doing it in this ridiculous context of having all these cameras pointed at us and then presenting it publicly. Like, really, that should fail like 95% of the time, you know?
It's so true. It's so awkward.
So I think that coming in prepared and like having all of that as a backstop and then hoping for the best is the best chance to make that all work. Or at least that's what I've taught myself.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me think about what you said with the whole David Letterman thing, is that there's an element to that keeps it grounded. The awareness that you have, that even your personality is when we're having these conversations with you, is kind of like, hey, this is just a thing. And it makes it feel a little bit more chill. What do you feel like you learned about human nature? I mean, you've spent so many times talking to people, asking them questions. What do you feel like is a consistency that you've realized across the board?
Well, I think the consistent thing is the inconsistency in everybody's story. Like everybody's path is so different, you know, and it's like athlete to athlete, the path is completely different. Actor to actor, musician to musician, you know, like nobody has the exact same route that they've taken to get to where they are, even if they're on the same red carpets or in the same film or whatever. So I think that it's that side of it, how many different shapes and colors this whole thing can take. And it's also like, I think taught me something about like the spirit of it all, you know, like we'll put these people in uncomfortable situations. I always joke that it's like the most comfortable, least comfortable interview that you'll ever do. But it's just on the other side of it, it's people fighting through that when they really do not have to at all. You know?
I saw Demi and she was like walking like a walk in the park. I was like,
she asked us if we have anything hotter.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
And for you, does it ever get too damn hot? I mean, you know, I know you said you grew up watching the Bears and eating hot salsa with your dad.
You did do your research, Keke. Good God.
So you're used to hot stuff, but do you ever get tired? Like, are you like taking acid reflux? Like,
yeah. Well, you know, I think I take better care of myself outside of the show because of the physical toll of the show. So I think ultimately it's a net positive. Maybe I'm an idiot and I'm just talking myself into something, but that's the way I look at it. But it does sometimes get uncomfortable for me. You know, like the bomb beyond insanity is the bomb beyond insanity. You know,
it really is.
Sometimes I get like a little head high and I'm sweating and, you know, like I feel the adrenaline rush of it all just as our guest would. I think the only thing is I'm more used to it. Like I know no matter the dark place that I'm in, that the sun will come out eventually. And I do feel a responsibility to put up a confident, calm front for the guest.
Yeah.
Because if I'm freaking out, then what are you going to be doing? You know, like if you ever went on Bear Grylls running wild and he wants you to rappel down a cliffside, but he's all nervous putting the harness on or whatever, you're not going to follow him. Yeah, exactly.
You know, what I'm also thinking too, I don't know if I thought about it ever when we did our interviews. Maybe I thought or assumed that it was just like your interview style, but you have such a rhythmic voice. A very rhythmic talking voice that I think is soothing. It's like when if you're only going in there and then I can't memorize, I can't do it, but I'm going to learn it. But you have such a type of voice. It's good to listen to and follow. I'm literally going on a roller coaster with you when you're talking.
There's a rhythm and syntax, I think, to the way I write, but also to the way I speak.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Now, back in 2017, you went on the Rocks diet. What was that about? What made you want to go on the Rocks diet, and what did it include?
So I think this would be pre-Hot Ones days, and I do remember the
crazy.
research. Yeah, look at you. I
had to do
little wink. So that was before Hot Ones, but again, this is complex. Like, hey, you got to come up with videos because there ain't going to be a magazine around much longer. Damn. So, it was an idea. I remember reading this book in college called Paper Lion about this writer who would do these different experiences. Like he was like playing with the Detroit Lions through training camp and all these different things. And I was always like, oh, that's a cool thing that this guy is doing. So let me try to do that where I live a day or as somebody else or do a different thing. But the Rocks diet, what I remember about that is it would be like this giant plate of brown rice and vegetables and like cod. Disgusting. And then each plate would weigh as much as like a Range Rover tire. You know, it's just this very dense food and a lot of it. So I would just be shoveling that food and it would be, you know, kind of gross to get at the end and you're uncomfortable.
Matilda with that cake.
But then he's on this, exactly. But I wish it was cake. It was just cod and brown rice. So, but when you'd finish the meal, he's on, you know, a 2-hour interval thing. So, like, by the time he'd finish, the next one's on the way. That was brutal. Yeah, that was brutal. That was brutal memories. I'd much rather do Hot Ones, yeah.
What is your favorite movie? Top 3.
Ooh, top 3. So I love The Dark Knight. So that was
good.
I used to do architecture tours of the Chicago River and Lake Michigan, and it was like while they were filming that. While they were filming that in Chicago, so I'd see, you know, on Lower Wacker, like an overturned ambulance and all these like Gotham police cars all over the place. So I remember like seeing the making of it while it was happening, and then going to the midnight screening and like loving it so much. But I feel like I kind of was in it while it was happening, and then it scratched that itch on the other side, so I felt some kind of connection to it. I love this movie. Nobody's ever seen it, called Windy City Heat, which is like this deep cult classic comedy.
Starring
Perry Caravello. Nobody's gonna know this, but I think it's time that I spread the good word. But it's all this like elaborate practical joke, like Jimmy Kimmel produced it. It's this elaborate practical joke where they have this guy believing that he's the star of a movie.
Oh no.
And they go through the whole thing and it's all very real, and you kind of see the way like the ego of it and the twists and turns and all that they put this guy through. But I've seen that movie like
Does the
50
guy
times
know?
and it makes me no, he doesn't.
Oh,
He's the
that's
only
horrible.
one that's not in it.
No.
I know it's the
That's
meanest.
like the Truman Show. But
It's the meanest. Yeah, it's like the meanest joke ever, but it's so insanely funny. I've watched the movie like 50 times. Laugh every time
the
I see
Windy
it.
City Heat.
The Windy City Heat. I'm glad I could
Oh
I could borrow the platform to spread the great gospel of that.
That is hilarious, Charles.
And then third would be this is a good question. I almost want to like.
It tells you so much about somebody.
I know. This is good. This is good. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is a movie that I
is
love.
deep.
I've got a lot of range. Over here.
There's a lot of weight to it. I mean, Dark Knight got a lot of weight too. It's commercial, but it's a heavy one. Yeah, Christopher Nolan. And then we have Brother, Where Art Thou? That's tough. What did you love about that one?
I like the music. I like the spectacle of it all. I like the kind of Odyssey journey of it all.
Yeah.
Every part of it. I love the dialogue. Just I don't know, like the Coen Brothers way of doing dialogue is always
unique.
Always a thing for me. And also too, because I'm on the spot and I feel like the walls are closing in, and I had to reach back. I had to reach in the bag and grab one and throw it out real quick.
Okay, what shows did you grow up watching?
Like the seminal shows of my youth. We grew up at a good time, the 90s. 'Cause I feel
TGI
like,
Fridays?
Yeah, of course. That was
Boy Meets
huge for
World.
me. But that was, Family Matters into Boy Meets World into Step by Step.
Come on, step by step,
Day by day. Fresh start over, a different hand to play. Yeah. I love
time.
TGIF. Yeah, that was a great time.
Such a good time.
And I often think that with Hot Ones, the thing that I'm always inspired by when I think about it is I actually want the viewer experience of it to be more like a family member or more like a Family Matters than it is like a Charlie Rose interview. Like I always think there's like some sort of sentimentality or like nostalgia. I always think about like the Christmas specials of Family Matters or whatever, and like what those did. And I always feel like I want that same watch experience with Hot Ones. TGIF was in a lot of ways formative for like how I look at escapism television.
Absolutely. And also I look back on that stuff and sometimes I think I probably can just contextualize pop culture. It's just like I'm always
but it's also you're in the soup of it all too.
And I'm like, what does it mean to me? Like I'm watching Sabrina the Teenage Witch and I'm like, wow, it was about our internal world. Like I'm always going so deep with everything. So growing up for you, like what music were you listening to?
I was a 90s rap kid,
Come on.
through. Yeah. Like I remember, at a very early age.
Like Tupac, Biggie.
Yeah. The
they might
first,
be older, but.
The first, I'm trying to think, like the first CD I ever bought, I think I went and I got Coolio, Gangster's Paradise.
Oh my gosh.
TLC, Crazy Sexy Cool.
Yes!
And then Bone Thugs East 1999. I think that was my first ever
Bone
record
Thugs and
store.
Harmony was it. That video was scary. I recently went
Crossroads, you wouldn't watch Crossroads again?
That video was scary. Like, everybody was gone. Like, it was actually really... And it's so funny, you're talking about Coolio. Why was I watching Dangerous Minds not too long ago? And that movie's insane. Michelle Pfeiffer goes to, like, the black lady house to tell her, like, your sons need to come back to school. Like, we ain't raising no doctors and lawyers. Why would that mama say that? It was just crazy. Some of those like white savior movies from that era were insane. She's going to the lady's house and be like, your son, they need to come to school. We ain't raising no doctors and lawyers. Why?
Why not? Yeah. Why are we painting ourselves in a corner that way?
It's so funny.
But yeah, anyway. I remember, like my mom would have to go and buy, because they had the parental sticker on there.
Oh my gosh, Blockbuster.
I was going to, where was I going? There's a store in Crystal Lake called Flipside, I remember. Best Buy.
Best Buy. Do we still have? We still have them, right?
I hope, yeah.
Fries is what I'm thinking
of. The retail hasn't fallen off, yeah.
Okay, so your questions are famously detailed. At what point does the research become a great question? Like, when do you know? Like, are you like, I mean, I don't want you to give me your IP for how you do it, but is it like things people don't know about so-and-so?
Yeah. I think a good thing to do is to start local, like where they are, right?
Yeah.
So if you have a guest and I don't know, they're from upstate New York and they're an actor and maybe they were starting off in, like some sort of theater scene somewhere, and like somebody's going to be writing about that stuff. Or if you're interviewing Viola Davis, for example, and like she's at Juilliard, like what was Juilliard writing about her, like when she first started to bubble up, like, because those are the first outlets, the first eyes that are going to see somebody rising. So that's like a good place to start, is in like regionality is kind of important when you're like looking for sources. And then also too, just expose yourself to as much information as you possibly can. So yes, like read all the magazine profiles, do all of that stuff. I also think it's a good idea, and this is probably something that's happened more so over the last couple of years, but if they're an actor, watch the movies, like end your night with a double feature. Like if they're an artist, like rather than like watching every interview, you should listen to the album. Because a lot of times the artistic expression of these people will tell you just as much about them, if not more, than the things that you're reading, the profiles that you're reading, the interviews that you're watching, whatever.
Was this always your style and what you discovered, or when you decided to do Hot Ones, it was kind of like, this is the approach I'm going to take?
Well, no, I think when we first started, I think the vision of it was that it would be this kind of internet sideshow Super Bowl event. Like maybe we'd just put out like 4 a year or something.
Okay.
Like I certainly didn't think we'd be programming it every single week when we first started. And I think back in the day, the idea was more of, the heat is on, like swinging interrogation light sort of situation. Like it was much more aggressive and adversarial in tone, I think, when it first started, our idea for it.
Wow.
But I think over time, what ended up happening was there was this cult audience that rallied around it early on. That wasn't a big, huge hit or anything, but it would be the same people that were like in the comments every week, So that made me feel good.
That's huge,
I was
that
like,
retention.
Right. That's like, they're not just rallying for this specific guest. Like these are people who are watching every week, regardless of who And then I think that really inspired me because it gave me an idea of its potential, because I never had huge dreams for the show, but I'm like, wait a second, every eye that we get in the tent, every set of eyes that we get in the tent stays in the tent. So if we can just grow this tent, well, what's going to make this thing grow? We have this interesting spectacle, but that can only take you so far. If you have what is unimpeachably an excellent or viable interview show, and then you combine it with this novel hook, that's how you can have a hit that lasts for a long time. But you can't have one without the other and have that kind of longevity. So it was really the fans that rallied around the show early on that made us think we really need to elevate it.
What episode or what few episodes was the turning point of you realizing maybe this is going like somewhere crazy?
Yeah, I think it didn't take long. I knew it was a crazy show from the first episodes that we shot. I think like Machine Gun Kelly was like the second episode that we shot, and he's standing on the table, he's doing laps around the room. And when something's going crazy in the studio, it's going to translate to camera even better,
Yes.
So I remember like while that was happening, I was like, this is insane. There's no show like this. This is totally, it's real, it's wild, it's spectacle, all of that. I'm like, once we publish this and present it, people are gonna be like, what the it's going to blow people's minds. So I remember feeling that before an audience ever caught up to it all. But that would be interesting. I would imagine if I pinpointed, it's like somewhere in the middle of season 2 is when I think we started to kind of like catch a rhythm. And I remember in college, I'd watch a lot of Nardwuar interviews. I always remember, when he's startling people with information, what he's creating is a real human reaction. He's snapping people out of that PR-driven flight patterns. That was always really inspiring for me. So I think the first time that, like, when that started happening on our show, I'm like, oh, this is great, because you have true human reactions to the spice. You have true human reactions to the interview, and that punctures the whole artifice of, like we talked about earlier, this completely ridiculous setup that we're all in.
How's it working with your brother? Because I know your brother Gavin, you guys... I have so much in here.
Yeah, you have a lot of cards.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? He's great.
Was it from the beginning, or were you like, come on, I need my bro to be a part
Super early on. He's probably been working with us now for 7 or 8 years. Yeah, and actually the whole show, Hot Ones, the company's grown. First Week Feast has grown, but really doing Hot Ones has not changed since the beginning, and all the same people are doing it. You know, I've had the same producer for 8 or 9 years, worked with my brother this whole time, me and Chris, obviously, from day one, you know, but yeah, I remember our camera guys are all the same, sound guy, you know, it's just always been the exact same way all the way through. And then I do appreciate it because it's like when it's your brother, you don't really have to manage him.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I just send a
He got
text,
your
hey,
back.
we're shooting with this person on 4:18, you know, need the packet by 4:15.
Yeah.
You know? And then he just thumbs it up. You know, I don't have to. He's
Baby brother?
baby brother, yeah.
Baby brother. It's just y'all two. It's just y'all two?
Just us. Just us.
The way that you looked and smiled made me feel like it was a trick question.
It's just us.
Okay, just you guys two.
Yeah.
What kind of brother were you?
He was a couple years younger than me, but it was you know, that's a good question. I think
I was a very annoying little sister. Really bad.
I think, yeah, I wonder, I mean, I think it's almost the same role that I'm having now, I feel like, where I'm still kind of a big brother to him, I feel like.
Yeah.
And that hasn't changed much. I think
So helpful. Never, not like Pete and Pete. You weren't like,
No, yeah. We weren't at each other's throats or anything like that. It's just a good, like, not too hot, not too cold relationship.
Yeah.
You know, sort of thing. Where Goldilocks just right, I think.
love that.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Gavin.
Yeah, to Gavin.
Is there ever any pressure that you have to stay consistent,
Mm.
you know, because again, people have all these high expectations for the show.
Yeah.
Do you get to a point where it's like, okay, we're going to have to cut, you know what I mean? It's like we're at the last season of Lost, boom.
Yeah.
You know, like, how do you feel about that?
Overall, I think an interview is something that no one's naturally good at it. I think you have to, it's like stand up, like you just have to get on stage and fail 100 times before you can start to identify a perspective or point of view. And then I think too, the longer you do it and the more that you commit to it, especially as like you start to rise or the show starts to rise, because a big thing is when a guest comes in is getting them to trust me and trust the process. You know, that's always like, I think the hardest hurdle that you have to jump, and you have to jump it quickly. And now so many people kind of walk in already trusting me or already trusting the process because it's gotten to a level where they want to be on the show rather than us persuading them to be on the show. So all of that, I think, actually makes my job a little bit easier. I think gives me a better ability to get something good out of people when I sit down with them. But I also think, like you were saying, the expectations, I try to have a healthy outlook on it where, you know, try to aim for everything being a 7 or an 8. You know, you'll have some 10s, you know, and you'll have some bricks. Hopefully you have more 10s than you have bricks. But if the viewer experience is consistently a 7 or an 8, that's how you get longevity out of things. So I try not to beat myself up about like not everything being a 10 all of the time, like not everything being an instant classic or huge hit all of the time. Just make the viewer experience of that a 7 or an 8, and that's enough to like scratch the itch every single time. And I also am kind of like trying to wrap my head around the ebbs and flows of it all, you know? Like, just on this given day, I'm sitting down with this person. We have this time, try to meet the moment, make the best out of it. Good things happen when you have that kind of approach. And so I just try to stay small and stay consistent. Like, don't think bigger than the next shoot, the next project, the next day.
Yeah. Again, it's very Midwestern. Now, you have an interesting take on cancel culture where you talk about shows and podcasts like this and, you know, if they should be held accountable for having certain people on. How do you feel about that when it comes to interview shows?
Well, I don't think, like, if you're a host of a show that you're necessarily, like, responsible for the guest's behavior in perpetuity forever. And I also don't think that, you know, I also, extend some grace for yourself. Right? Yeah, you're not responsible for what I do 5 years from now and this video being up. But I also don't know if it's like the place of a talk show host to be like the arbiter of what is and what is not okay, you know? And then I also think, though, there's other sides of it where, you know, there's a certain responsibility, I think, you know, like I think there's certain guests, there's certain things where it's like more of a journalism setting than it is an entertainment setting.
Right.
And in that case, I think there are different rules involved. But overall, like there's
do
times that you
feel
just have
you
to
on
like
that.
bring somebody in, or like you're shooting with somebody. Like if you agreed to do it,
Yeah.
do it and eat it.
I'm always thinking about that, especially with my podcast, is how can I contextualize this and show awareness around something, but then still allow the conversation to pose as something for the audience to engage on any given topic.
Yeah, right.
Because sometimes it does feel like, or the idea is often, this is just something thoughtless, as opposed to, no, this should mean something.
Right.
And we should, even if this is not somebody that I agree with or have the same ideas as, at least it's something for you to engage with and talk about that I'm platforming that leads to a bigger discussion. And I
Right.
think it's difficult to figure out how to handle that sometimes.
Right, or thread that needle, because sometimes like the feedback that comes in, and too, I don't know, sometimes
Yeah.
you can get it wrong. Like,
Right.
sometimes you can just step in it and mess up too.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
That's the other side of it. But ultimately, just next day, next
Yeah,
shoot.
yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
Very much next day, next
Yeah,
shoot. Okay, well, I mean, it's important for me to talk about me being on Hot Ones.
Ooh, yeah,
That's
yeah.
a big deal.
Baby, this is Keke Palmer, yeah.
There is a very specific kind of joy that happens when you get 3 generations of your family all under one roof. And if you know, you know. I'm talking about mom teaching the grandkids something in the backyard, daddy on the grill doing what he does best, the cousins running around being feral in the best way possible. And let me tell you, that kind of moment, you're not really getting that in a hotel. In a hotel, everybody ends up in their own room, doors closed, doing their own thing. It starts to feel more like a logistics exercise than a family memory. But when I book a stay on Airbnb, like when I went to Big Bear, it's a whole different vibe. You get a real home in a real neighborhood with enough space so nobody's on top of each other, but still close enough that everybody's part of the same story. And that's what makes it special. Spring is the perfect time to do it before summer gets hectic and everybody's schedules take over. Find a home on Airbnb and get your whole family under one roof. Trust me, that's where the magic is. Do I get a crown or something? Because I've actually feel like I've been on the most times.
I think you have actually been on the most times, because you'd have to factor in the studio the first time.
Yep.
We did an episode during the
This one's got a little
quarantine.
sweetness
This got
to
a
it.
little sweetness to it.
I don't know how that always happens with me and you. It's so cool. It's so random that I'll never forget, even that first one. That was just the most fun ever.
Yeah, I think it's like, because you probably didn't totally know what you were
No.
walking into. And then I feel like it was one of those where like the show kind of won you over while it was happening.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
And then it was probably, you tell me, was it kind of surprising to you the reaction that it got on the other side? You do like so many
was.
interviews, but then this one, it almost becomes like a line on your IMDb or something.
I feel like that became the beginning of the whole meme thing with me.
Yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean? When people saw me on that first one with you, where I'm like trying my hardest to X, Y, and Z and stay up. And that was the first, I think that might have been one of the first time that I ever saw me getting memed.
You
my
were making
facial expression.
deposits to the meme economy that day.
NFTs everywhere. No. So that was incredible. Why do you think I was a good Hot Ones guest?
Because there's a lot of reasons that you're a great guest, but you're
Words of
obviously very
affirmation.
charismatic, you're smart, you're beautiful. You have a way of talking about the stuff that you do. You'll say something smart or thoughtful, and then you'll provide an example from your career, and then you'll undercut that with like a little joke. And I think it just keeps the rhythm of all of that. But then also too, I think that we all give off like kind of gigawatt frequencies, and like sometimes they just
You're
naturally
really
match
good.
with
Yeah,
people. Yeah.
You really good. That's what I'm telling you. Like the vibe that I do think that's why it's so special whenever we did the Hot Ones, whenever we talking and hanging out and people are always gagging about it, because we do, it's like we both being like,
Just dance,
we're
yeah,
just
right.
dancing. What was the feedback you got when people saw us kiss?
I just got a lot of like, that's my dog, like that. Just a lot of it. Really, I don't know what it did for you, but it was great for
It was
my
great
stock.
for me
It was
as
great
well.
for my stock.
It was
I'll tell
great
you
for
that.
me as well. I mean, first of all, they're going to be ready for this because they just want to see us together all the time.
Right. Well, I always think that. I think that sometimes I'm like, We could never go broke because ultimately we could just do like this is my dream for when we're old New Yorkers.
Yes!
Is we do the coffee mug, coffee table like morning shows. You know.
Oh my gosh.
This is the thing.
With Sonny and Cher.
Yeah. Mark and Kelly. You know?
Now, oh my gosh. Yes. I love us waking up with America. Yeah. Good morning, guys.
Yeah, that's what we could call it. Yeah.
Sean and Keke. Keke and Sean. In Chicago.
Yeah, let's
Windy
okay,
City
yeah.
Heat.
I'm trading well, Perry Caravello will be our first guest. Yeah, we can gosh.
That is too
Wait,
funny.
actually now I'm kind of in love with this
I
idea.
actually love it as well. I do love me and you something more.
Yeah.
It's good.
Let's do that.
Something
Let's
good
do
here.
that. Yeah.
I mean, how does it feel now that you're in the talent space as well? I mean, it was like I'm interviewing, but then now like I'm a celebrity and like people are in my business too. Like, what do you feel of it?
It's all very exciting and fun and kind of a cartoon world, you know, that I try not to take too
is a cartoon
seriously or whatever. And, but it's also a chance to learn new skills, learn new things. How do I pose on a red carpet? You know, like how do I handle all of these different situations, scenarios? I think it all helps the day job, to go through all of these things. And it's, I don't know, it's just, it's strange to kind of look at where we started and then these different kind of mile markers that you hit along the way and you're like, whoa, what the hell happened? Because it happens so slow. I feel like I was like a frog that was just boiled 1 degree at a time. So I didn't feel it get so hot all of a sudden. And so then now I'm just trying to catch up and react to it. But, I like somebody's going to dress me for an award show and like, oh, this is elevating my taste level like to something that I'm not capable of as a 90s kid from suburban Crystal Lake, Illinois. And like all of these different things that are all super exciting and fun. But I love my studio. Like that's still home for me. And but it's fun, I guess, to get out on a Friday night.
How does it affect your dating life? Like, do you feel like you have to now be more cautious?
I think, but that could be dating life. That could be anything. I think like there is like a whole way in which you have to be more that, as a midwife, I'd be like, oh, everybody's just my friend and everybody has good intentions for me or whatever. And I think, I think that you have to be more cautious about like anything, like anybody that comes in your life, anything that comes in your life, offers that come in, like there's lots of different things I think where you have to be a lot more skeptical than my, Midwest roots would want me to be.
Is there a thing that you go by, like, when you're entering new situations, whether they be relational or business-wise, that you kind of help you to check off?
I think I have like a good small circle around me. Like there's people that are, I don't have, a big team or like a big circle or anything. It's super tight, but everybody's really, really connected. So I always just try to get perspectives outside of my own, like trust my own gut, but also too just the people around me as much as possible.
Yeah, community is everything.
Yeah.
Also, you petitioned to have Hot Ones nominated for an Emmy.
Oh.
That was a pretty incredible thing. What made you decide to do that?
Yeah, I didn't, you know what? Actually, to be honest with you, when I saw that was news to me, like that. Like I saw that, like somebody, sent me an article and I was like, oh, okay. Cool, I guess.
So did somebody else put it together?
Yes, maybe Auntie. Maybe somebody from Auntie's side, actually.
But I mean, I feel that it does deserve it, though. So it does make sense to me.
Well, I think that ultimately when I think about all of these things, it's like late night was always the de facto cultural reference point for where you could find celebrities in looser and edgier environments. Yeah. So it's like in that way, Hot Ones is worthy of competition and comparison with all of those sort of traditionally, award shows types like nominees. And then on top of it, like when you look at the cultural penetration, the performance, the eyeballs, like all of those different things, I think it does come to a point where even if it's not us or if it's not Hot Ones, like that is the future.
Exactly.
Like we said, there's this entire ecosystem of celebrity interview shows that are on the internet now. Like there's going to be more of them in 10 years and 15 and 20, and the best ones are going to come out. Like anybody who makes something new is going to do it here first. So I think like ultimately those doors will open at some point, and I guess Hot Ones is just kind of knocking on them right now.
Yeah. I mean, then you also were named one of Time 100's most influential creators. How does that feel?
They're all like fun and exciting things.
I live for fun and exciting. Now all I think about is your mom being so sweet. Because you're like, it's just lovely, and I just, it's great.
It is. But ultimately, the drug that I'm always chasing or the itch that I'm always trying to scratch is just big, good episodes. Big, good interviews, like we were talking about with Family Matters. And, I just remember the kind of feeling that I got from escapism television, especially at times when I really needed it. And so I just think like the ultimate privilege is now to be a conduit for that exact same feeling, just for a new generation. So all these different fun things that are happening in my life and all these different sort of layers that get added to the cake every year, like it's all really cool. But the thing that I'm always chasing and that I'm always inspired and always focused on is just making bangers. Making, like,
have you ever had
interviews.
Barack Obama on?
No, I've never had Barack Obama on.
Barack would love this.
I wonder what the Secret Service wing situation would be like. Can we just...
Barack need to come on there. We want to see that. Michelle neither?
No, neither one. So maybe someday, but I do wonder
that
what,
would be cool.
What feeding a world leader scorching hot chicken
Sean,
wings is like. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you one thing.
These wings are spicy. Wings are hot as
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, let's get into a quick rapid fire before we get into our game because we just need to know more about you, Sean. Okay, so let's start with this. Celebrity crush growing up.
Ooh. Growing up was TLC from...
All of them, yeah.
Hold on.
Crazy, sexy, and cool.
No. Celebrity crush growing up, my first one ever was Left Eye from TLC. And I remember at one point... on the topic of TV, there was this episode of Living Single, right? Where TLC would appear.
You was watching Living Single?
Yeah.
I know that's right.
Yeah. I was
Yes,
then I was watching New York Undercover after Living Single when I was in like third grade. I was a very precocious kid. MTV kid. Yeah. And I remember there was this episode where he's having these like fantasy dreams, and in these dreams TLC is appearing in the episode. And I remember seeing Left Eye and like just something happening to me, like my heart dropping and like, just like a thing just happening to me, and like walking up to my dad and being like, is it possible for someone who's my age now to grow up and look exactly like someone who's a grown up now? Like, because I was like, I know I'm too young for Left Eye, but is it possible that there's like a Left Eye to be out there who's gonna like 2.0 into a Left Eye? Like, and I remember he was just reading the paper. I'll never forget this. He just dropped the paper, looked at me and goes, not exactly alike, but pretty similar. And then just went back to reading the paper. Like, still remember that moment.
It was just such a genuine reply from your dad, which I really love.
Like, he was just meeting me like,
I remember when I watched Karate Kid and I asked my mom, where's that man now? She was like 40. I'm like, damn, he was so
that's
cute
just not
to
a reality
me.
that I wanted to face. Yeah,
You know,
you could have lied to me.
I played Chili in a TLC movie.
I know you
It's
did.
close enough.
I know you did. Close enough. Absolutely close enough. From where I sit.
Sean! Okay, most uncomfortable interview moment.
Ooh.
If you've had it, you don't seem uncomfortable.
No, I actually like, despite the format, it is always like such a positive experience on the other side. But I'm trying to think of like uncomfortable moments. I mean, like, I kind of go back to this, but I love this episode. But I remember, like, DJ Khaled came in the first season and tapped out by the third wing, which was like an interesting thing because I have this big, long format. So it was like kind of an interesting thing where I'm sitting across from the person and then they completely like reject the format, like in the beginning. And so then I'm like tethered into the machinery of this show and just trying to keep it going, with somebody who's not going to participate on the other side. But then, I don't know, then
That's
there's like
so
a
crazy.
certain... I know, but there's a certain kind of like thing that happens in that episode as like a result of it being so off the wall in Gonzo that it's actually, I think, like one of like the 10 most important episodes we've ever done for that reason.
I'm really
like
going back
go back and watch
like, what
that
did
one.
DJ Khaled create? Favorite place to go for a romantic date?
Ooh, I'm a food guy, I'm a restaurant guy. There's I like the taste of like oysters or like caviar and like champagne on
Ooh,
that
sounds
kind
nice
of
and rich.
yeah like I like a celebratory kind of feel to it. Yeah, a little truffle, little
do.
wagyu.
We're like naming everything, duck fat, bone marrow, like
all of those things. Yeah, and then the like romantic. I'm like, I think maybe I just want to eat or
Right?
something. Yeah,
Exactly.
That's what that comes down to.
It's so funny. One of my favorite restaurants in Chicago is this restaurant called Alinea. Have you ever been?
Of course I've been to Alinea.
Oh
yes.
my gosh, I love deconstructed like food and
And like
this
dinner is theater and all of the
Oh my gosh, I love murder mystery dinners as well. Very cool stuff. Just
All right,
telling
well,
you.
I'm
just
taking
telling
taking
you
notes.
know. What is one thing that you can obsess over?
Ooh.
Any OCD vibes?
Ooh, I think probably like in certain ways. Obviously obsessed with my job, obsessed with the show, but I'm not like overly obsessed about anything. I think I'm like kind of fickle.
My shoes,
I'm fickle with hobbies and all like what am I into? I'm kind of into like jackets right now, but like other than that, like I have like not much going on.
Yeah, what
in
do you
that
consider a
department.
hobby for yourself?
Just I'm in the park every day, in the gym all the time. I love a rooftop pool.
Okay.
I love a rooftop pool. Love a resort vacation.
I love all this stuff too.
Yeah. We're locked in. We're on the same. Yeah, it's that
Fabulous.
gigawatt energy. You know.
Literally. Okay. What's your dream Hot Ones guest, dead or alive? I know you've gotten this one a million times.
I think the best one ever, if they were still alive, would be Chris Farley. Like just kind of made in a lab for Hot Ones, and would just be like an iconic, perfect, amazing Hot Ones.
I would love to see you with him. I would love to see you with Robin Williams.
Yeah, same. Yeah, Robin Williams is
Jim
up there
Carrey
too.
came yet?
No, not yet, but that would be.
We need Jim.
Yeah, we need Jim. There's a lot that we need.
I mean, it's so cool to know because I feel like in my mind when I think about Hot Ones, I'm like, they've done everybody under the sun, but it's cool for us to realize maybe there is some more because I feel like you guys have done so much great stuff, but it's like it's so great. There's still so much more too.
And too, it's like celebrities always evolving and changing. There's always like a freshman class that's coming in, and I always kind of like catching people right before they take off. You know,
Sure.
like I feel like we did that with like Shawn Mendes or Olivia Rodrigo or like even Billie Eilish. Like when we shot the Billie Eilish episode, it's always like kind of catching people like as they're about to take off. But I always think that that's like a really interesting part in their career.
It
Post Malone would be
is.
like another one that I feel like we caught on an upswing. So I circle those that genre of interview. Like I always love when we are able to book a guest like that.
Yeah, right before they reach that point.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Finish the sentence. The secret to a great interview is, which you've kind of answered this.
Authenticity, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, it's a lot harder than people expect to get. You know what I mean? Because it's like you said, we're in a room, people are watching. Everyone has naturally, even if you're not an entertainer, people naturally have. You're different when you're being observed.
Yeah.
Than you would be in your home with no one watching. So getting to that place is definitely a thing.
Where they can kind of like surrender to it or
Yeah.
whatever. I always think like the key is to try to get to a point where the cameras and everything is just kind of blacked out, which I always think is nice because we have that black set and people
Yeah.
are dying on spice, where it just becomes like a tunnel vision where it's like it's just me and you in here.
Yeah.
You know, it's just us. It's just us.
It's a trauma bond.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I try to get to.
Okay, so now it's time to do the fun part.
All
We're
right,
gonna
cool.
play a game. I play a
It's
game.
been so
with-
fun already.
Yay! I was really actually, it's actually really nervous, Sean, because you are really great at what you do, and I wanted you to have just as much fun on my show as I do on yours.
Oh, it's just fun being with you.
I turn into Lucille Ball a little bit. Like it becomes like I become just. I don't know why. Anyway, we're going to get into a fun game of Twister.
Okay, cool.
I think it would be great for us to get a little physical, have
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
fun,
yeah.
and
I'm in.
we're gonna get some questions asked, and
All
we're
right,
gonna
cool.
get to touch it.
Yeah, all right,
The
let's
spots.
do it. Let's do it.
Okay, so Sean, I've asked you about everything about art, from living to lifestyle to the season 30 coming up of Hot Ones. 30 seasons?
It's crazy.
Oh my gosh, is that like, how are you doing that? That seems like a lifetime of work.
Yeah, well, just as a Pac-Man, just one pebble after another. I'm lost in the sauce. 10 years went by, it all felt like 3 weeks.
Oh my gosh, congratulations on that premiering. But let's get into some Twister. My mom
do
is
it.
here.
Oh.
Hello.
Good
How
to
are
see
Your
you again.
mother-in-law?
It's been a long time since I've seen
Yes, yes.
This is going to be a fun game of Twister. She's going to ask us questions.
Okay.
And we're going to figure out where our hands and our feet go. Okay,
All right.
Mama.
So I should get started?
You should get started.
Okay, who goes first? I guess I
I could go first.
Okay, Keke, you go first. All right, so question. Biggest red flag someone could have.
Okay, where'd I go?
It says right hand, yellow.
That's it.
Yeah,
Okay, biggest red flag someone can have.
correct.
I think that it would probably be hating their mom.
Oh, wow, okay, that's great. I
Good
love
answer,
that
yeah.
one. Okay. All right, okay. Sean, yellow, right hand. Your question is, your date starts interviewing you the entire night. Is that attractive or annoying?
You know what? I would find that annoying because I like to be the one that is keeping the ball in the air and
Okay.
controlling the conversation. I'm just wired that way. So if I was getting interviewed, I would find that annoying.
Okay, good. Okay, Keke. This is fun. I hope y'all in good shape.
Yes.
Okay. I
see you
Well,
doing
we both
yoga,
love,
yeah.
we both love the gym.
It says left hand green.
Okay.
Left hand green. And your question is, your date is funnier than you. Is that attractive or threatening?
Actually, it's attractive. I think it's funny when I get a chance to just not be anything.
Okay, all right, I'm spinning. And Sean, left hand blue.
Okay.
Left hand blue. And your question is,
Come on, Plank.
I'm gonna hit a plane.
are you into splitting the bill, yes or no?
No, I would pick up the bill. I would pick up the bill.
Oh,
I pick up lots of bills.
Now that I heard the interview, that is Midwestern. Yes. Okay, Keke.
Oh my
There you go.
gosh.
Left
She's
foot
got us
green.
Left foot green.
Left foot green.
All right, left foot green. Phew.
What is your toxic dating trait?
My toxic dating trait, I get scared a lot.
Oh,
I get spooked and I just say, I gotta go to work. I get nervous. I'm not that vulnerable. You know, I get nervous.
Okay, all right. Let me spin now for Sean. Let's hope we get a foot in here. Okay, blue, right foot.
Oh, wow.
Whoa, wow.
This is a jump.
Okay. Your date keeps checking their phone.
Ooh.
That's
What
gross.
do you do?
You know what? I deal with it in a quiet way during the actual date, but then that's probably the last date. That's kind of a red flag for me. You know, I kind of keep the phone away. You know, I understand checking it a little bit here and
Yeah.
there, but if they're constantly on it, there's no
That's a problem.
Yeah, that's
There's
crazy.
no future there,
Because
yeah.
you're not that engaged with me. Like, what the hell?
and yeah, you're caught in the matrix of your phone. You know, I'm not gonna be able to get you out of it.
All right. Keke.
I'm ready.
Right foot red. How the hell you gonna do that? Okay, you're at this date, girlfriend,
Okay.
and you don't feel any chemistry
Oh, no.
at all. What do? Fake it or get up and leave?
I turn it to Keke Palmer.
Yeah.
Entertain my way through it.
Okay, all righty. Okay,
This is so crazy. I feel so nostalgic.
Sean,
We're back
right
in the
foot green. Oh my God.
Right foot green.
Oh, you already got a right foot? We'll do the other foot. Yeah.
Do the other. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
I'm hitting it.
This is
Okay.
crazy good.
If a date can't handle spicy food, is that a compatibility issue for you?
No, you know what? That's fine by me. You know, if I'm off the clock, which I would be when I'm with her, that's okay. You know, like we can do salads and juices and cereal.
Things that don't require Pepsi.
Okay. Okay, right foot yellow, Keke? I don't know.
Right foot yellow.
Yes. Okay. Best first date activity.
Best first date activity. Something where that's low pressure. You know, like maybe we are taking a stroll, you know, eating some, like maybe we picked up something and go sit in the park, or We go to a restaurant, we sit outside, something outside, like an outside park, rooftop, anything that is
Speed
like
up the answer. Maybe we go to the park, maybe we just...
And that's the thing. I wasn't saying anything unique.
Let me give him the boo.
Get him out of this position.
Okay. Left hand blue. Left hand blue.
It's already there. It's already there.
Okay,
Give me some new stuff.
let's do the foot.
Okay.
Right foot red.
Oh, no.
Is that worse?
The hand he's given.
I won.
I think you won.
Yes, you won.
Any, any more last questions? to ask us?
Let me ask Sean
Yeah.
this question because I'm interested in what he would say.
Second workout of the day.
Yeah.
Pilates.
What's something you've learned the hard way with dating?
A lesson to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? You have to clearly identify priorities. You know what I mean? Because if you go in there not sure how they stack up, that'll create a problem along the way.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, because that's real compatibility. A lot of times we think, when I think about when I was younger, I would just be thinking about chemistry. But compatibility, that's what that is. What are our priorities? How do our life and our structure actually work? And a lot of times,
You gotta learn that lesson the hard way.
Last
Boy, have
question
I.
for you, Keke.
Okay.
Do you fall fast or do you take your time?
I think in real life, and I say real life because I feel like my life is now more representative than when I was younger. I was not sure what I was defining love as or connection as. Not that those connections weren't real, but I think that what I know of love now, it's much longer. It takes much longer for me because I think it's based off of realer things, not just fun vibes, not just we kicking it in this, man, we got chemistry. It's like the love comes from a place of integrity. Not saying the other times it didn't, but it comes from how do we actually align? How was it actually having sustainability? So that takes longer.
Right. Last thing I'm going to say, Sean, you're from Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
And we grew up in Robbins. Mm-hmm. This is such a great moment for me. I'm 58 years old. And when I was growing up, a kid from Crystal Lake wouldn't have been seen with a kid from Robbins.
Damn, is Crystal Lake where the rich folks are?
That's where they are.
Mom, that is hilarious. So I gotta take my ass to Crystal Lake. Sound nice over
Anytime
there.
you want. Anytime you
So,
want.
but this is great. This is how life should be. The guy from Crystal Lake should be sitting next to the girl from Robbins.
That's right.
That's so sweet, Mom. I love that. Shout out to Mr. and Mrs. Evans. Your parents.
Oh, I thought you were talking about us.
That was good. Y'all, he's too damn quick. Yes.
I love you too.
You're the best. What I love about this conversation is that it reminds you great interviews aren't just about the questions. They're about the intention behind them. And Sean has built an entire world of being present, being prepared, and being willing to go there, even when it gets hot. From watching his dad laugh at David Letterman to now creating moments that make millions of people feel something. That's not just success. That's purpose. Sean, I'm so glad that you brought your full self into this space. I appreciate you, and I hope to see you on Hot Ones real soon. Make sure to check out season 30 of Hot Ones coming this June. And to everybody listening, keep asking better questions. Keep working on your craft. And don't be afraid to turn up the heat on your dreams. Until next time on Baby, this is Keke Palmer.
Baby, this is Keke. Baby, this is Keke Palmer, yeah.
Okay, I know y'all are wondering, what happened after that game of Twister with Sean? And I already hear y'all. What's going on between them? Are they flirting? When is that date happening? Are we getting another Hot One smooch? That's for us to know. And maybe you too if you keep watching on Spotify. And if you're subscribed to Spotify Premium, you won't get any commercial breaks on my show. So, no interruptions when you see some of those questions get answered this season.